I just was scared that I was going bald. I was like, what can you do? And they tell you they can fix it. They're like, oh, great, I'll just get it fixed.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Matt here, and in this video I'm gonna be sharing with you the hair loss story of Joe Rogan.
I had hair transplants. I had my first one, I think, when I was like 26. I had 3 of them.
How he got 3 hair transplants and why he decided to shave his head anyways, and why I see a similar scenario happening to me. So if you are somebody in your late 20s, early 30s considering a hair transplant, this video can teach you a lot, so stay tuned. This video is brought to you by GoFiber Hair Building Fibers. Pick up your free sample and get instant hair confidence. Start your transformation today. Hey, welcome back everybody. My name is Matt and you're watching my hair loss and hair transplant related channel. So if you are interested or considering hair transplant, really the best way to start with your hair transplant research is to download my free ebook 5 things I wished I had known before my hair transplant, which can save you a lot of time researching, doing bad mistakes, which you don't want to do. So in case you're considering transplant and want to do it the right way, grab my free ebook, okay? And now let's proceed with the topic of today's video. Now, for all you guys who have never heard the name Joe Rogan, just a very brief introduction. He has a very famous podcast on YouTube, which is called
The Joe Rogan Experience,
interviewing people like Elon Musk, Jordan Peterson, MMA fighters, and he's also very well known from the UFC. Joe Rogan started experiencing hair loss in his mid-late 20s, as me and many of you guys watching this video.
Oh my God, my fucking hair is falling out. I had known it was falling out for a while. I saved it though with the minoxidil, but after a while it was like, it was still falling out. And I was like, God, I gotta do something about it.
During the time of him playing in his first TV shows like News Radio, he was already experiencing hair loss. As you can see here, he was already on minoxidil. And once he made it to the screen on TV shows and Fear Factor, he really was afraid that if he now starts losing more hair, he's not gonna get these roles, he's not gonna get paid as much, and he really thought his career is gonna be over.
I was freaking out when my hair was falling out because I was on TV too. And I was making a living like as an actor at the time on news radio.
So what he did, he started researching and informing himself about, how to get the hair back.
Do you find like a doctor who does it and you talk to them and they show you photos and you're like, oh, this is gonna work. Oh, whew. Boy, I'm gonna fix my hair.
Now, as he became older and older over the course of his early, mid, and late 30s, his successes in TV shows appearances like Fear Factor, his stand-up comedy successes kept coming and coming. But on the other hand, his hair kept on receding and receding. So he kept getting more and more hair transplants. And at the end, he got like 3 FUT hair transplants.
I have this giant scar on the back of my head. It looks like a smile.
Now, he started as the Norwood 2 to Norwood 3 type of guy with some recessions on his temples and also his central area. He needed to cover more and more areas towards his crown because, as you can see him today, he has this typical horseshoe pattern baldness like Norwood 6 to Norwood 7 with some hair on the front, which is the transplanted hair. Otherwise, he would have looked totally bald. So what happens with the time, you get more transplants, more transplants, more transplants until you don't have enough hair in your donor to cover the areas. So what happens? You don't have enough hair. What he said to himself, well, I already made it in the stand-up comedy world. I started my podcast, Joe Rogan Experience, and 1 year after that, the podcast made it to the top 100 podcasts on iTunes. He got married, he got his first child, so he was like, all right, I think it's the time to shave my head. I don't want to stress with my hair right now. I don't want to keep maintaining my native hair from falling out further. I don't want to be on minoxidil forever or taking Propecia. Now, this is exactly the scenario I see happening with me. When I was 25, I got my first hair transplant. I knew I was not the perfect candidate for the hair transplant. And second, I knew there is gonna be a time where I'm not gonna have enough donor hair in my donor area to potentially cover the future baldness. So I knew I'm gonna shave it off sooner or later. I actually completely buzzed my head off during the last year in my high school when I was like 19, and I was like living with this look for like 5 years. Eventually, I got my first transplant. So I know how it feels. I'm completely fine with that. I just knew I want to have hair because I want to, increase my attractiveness. I didn't know what to do in life. Maybe I want to do something where my appearance is going to be important and involved, like in Joe Rogan's case. And third, I know I'm going to increase my perceived sexual market value by women. So it's going to increase chances of me getting actually the girl that I like. I knew what I was going into before I got my first hair transplant. But do you, okay? That's important. So if you see it like that, like I want to get a hair transplant to, enhance my look right now, it's completely fine. And maybe if I'm like 40, 50, 60, I'm going to be tired of maintaining my hair, my native hair from falling out, and you will just be like, I want to shave it. Nothing wrong with that either, okay? But it's important that you are getting the hair transplant for the right reasons and you are aware what can happen in 10, 15, 20 years after that. Think of a hair transplant as getting steroids, okay? As long as you keep staying on steroids, keep injecting the testosterone, your muscles will be hard and pumped and dense. But as soon as you get off of your cycle or TRT or whatever, you will see that the muscles will be a little bit smaller, okay? It's the same with hair transplants. As long as you will keep getting new hair transplants, which will keep covering the newly recessed hair loss areas, you're good. And once you have no more donor hair in your donor available for the transplant, once you are fed up with all the medication, you stop taking it, you are not interested in applying minoxidil anymore or taking finasteride, then the hair starts falling out. And the only thing which will remain will be the transplanted hair which had been previously transplanted. And then it's up to you. Will you shave it off? Will you mask it? Will you get an SMP? Or will you be able to preserve the rest from falling out with some treatment? Hopefully. People who get a hair transplant right now or in the next couple of years will just have it much more easier to maintain the hair transplant result itself, like maintaining the natural hair, native hair from falling out further, because we also live in 2019 right now with more potential anti-hair loss treatments which can be much more effective than finasteride and minoxidil. Breezula will have RCH01 from Replicel, potentially treatments like Folica, exosomes, and different types of stem cell treatments which I believe will be coming up to the market in several couple of years from now, which will be much more effective than finasteride and minoxidil and will be able to prolong the lifespan of our hair much better. In such way, you can have hair for maybe even your whole life, but maybe it won't look as great, so you may decide I want to shave it off. Maybe not, so it's up to you. Alright guys, that was it for this video. If you are somebody who is interested in a hair transplant, you want to find a reliable hair transplant doctor, somebody who is not going to overharvest your donor area, somebody who's going to create a naturally looking hairline, then make sure you contact me and sign up for a one-on-one call with me where I'm going to basically advise you all that. Only for guys who are interested in a hair transplant, who are maybe at the start, who is a good doctor, who is not a good doctor, how to find a reliable clinic and stuff like that. So make sure you click the link in the video description below which says find reliable hair transplant doctors with Matt. I'm going to be happy to share what I know with you and help you out get your hair back, okay? Take care guys, pleasure talking to you, and we will see you in the next video.